So we'll start with Mangala Charan. Jnanam Timirandasya Jnanam Janasya Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sati Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let me just check if there is. So we'll start with and this is the verse for today. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 16th chapter, and verse 21. So Arakshaya Mana Striya Urvi Balana Soch Sheto Purusha Deri Vartan Vacham Devi Brahma Kule Kukurmam Ayam Brahmane Rajkule Kulagrayan. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So translation is, are you feeling compunction for the unhappy woman and children who are left forlorn by unscrupulous, apologies for my translation, but my pronunciation, unscrupulous persons? Or are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by brahmanas addicted to acts against the principles of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahmanical culture? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the age of Kali, the women and the children, along with brahmanas and cows, will be grossly neglected and left unprotected. In this age, illicit connection with women will render many women and children uncared for. Circumstantially, the woman will try to become independent of the protection of men, and marriage will be performed as a matter of formal agreement between men and women. In most cases, the children will not be taken care of properly. The Brahmanas are traditionally intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. But as far as moral and religious principles are concerned, they shall be most fallen. Education and bad character go ill together, but such things will run parallel. The administrative heads as a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom and will prefer to conduct a so-called secular state, and the so-called educated brahmanas will be purchased by such unscrupulous administrators. Even a philosopher and writer of many books in religious principle may also accept an exalted post in a government which denies all the moral codes of the Shastras. The Brahmanas are specifically restricted from accepting such service, but in this age, they will not only accept service, but they will do so even if it is of the meanest quality. These are some of the symptoms of the Kali age, which are harmful to the general welfare of human society. So, Jai Srila Prabhupada Jai. So, in this verse, starting with what I've heard from Srila Prabhupada and from senior Vaishnavas, and this chapter is actually in this verse, Dharma is talking to Mother Cow, and Dharma in the form of bull, and Mother Earth is in the form of the cow, and they both, Dharma is asking this question. So there are three main questions that have been asked in this question, in this verse specifically. So first one is, are you compunction? Compunction means, are you feeling sorry for the unhappy woman and children, and that they have been left without any care? So are you feeling sorry for those women and children? And then second question has been said that are you unhappy that goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati has been handled by Brahmanas, addicted to acts against the principles of religion? And this was, we see, so these are the three basically symptoms of the Kali Yuga, has also been explained, and in terms of asking question. And the third question was asked, that is because brahmanas are more of taking up administrative job in the government jobs, and who do not. Sorry, I had to put you on the mute. I'm sorry. And the third question was that do you think that brahmanas have, are you sorry that brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families, And the administrative families, as we know that, the government administrative families, it means the government basically, the royal families or administrative families or the government, who do not respect the Brahminical culture. So, I'm sorry for these three things. So we will go by one, all these three items, which are very important. So Srila Prabhupada has always said that, there are five categories. Those should be always be looked after. So there are women, children, brahmanas, cows. They should be always be taken care of, by someone. So take an example of the woman and children. So first of all, if we talk about the woman, is as we know that woman is always looked after by the parents, first of all by the father, then by the husband, and then by the elderly son. And in the Vedic system, women are not allowed to take, they should not take sannyas. They should be married, and they should stay in the ashram, in the grhastha ashram, or in the shelter of the sun, and by looked after, maintained by the son, because women has said that they're quite vulnerable, and very emotionally charged, like, they're very emotions, they have emotions, and this is why it's very important for them to be protected under someone. And children are also very, innocent, and this is why it's been said that, the relationship between the man and woman are very important. And the connection, there should not be this, as Prabhupada has mentioned, in this age illicit connection between man and woman has been rendered. So, and this is why the children are not cared for, and we can see there are so many broken families around us, in the society, especially in this Kali Yuga. If we see our parents, our grandparents, they were married for 50 years, 100 years, they've had such a happy life, married life, and the children came, in the society, that those were very strong families. But now we see, because there is no connection between husband and wife, and there is no, love and affection, and this is why it happens that, yeah, it happens that the children feels very, they are always in anxiety, they don't feel protected for, they are not looked for, cared for. And this is why, the society, the generation will come, they will not be as strong as it was previously. And this is why it said that, dharma is asking mother cow, are you unhappy because, women and children has been left like that? And even culture, as we say that, previously, I remember when my grandmother used to come in front of the, if she would come in front of the man, she would always cover her head. Even I've not covered my head today, but it has always been a culture that woman has always covered her body properly, and this is what was taught in the Indian culture as well, in the past, in Vedic system, is that women should cover their body properly, and nothing should be exposed, and they should have the qualities of shyness, the patience. These are the basic things which should be, implied, and, taught to the woman. And uh, and this is what, takes the, because the woman is the one who manages the house, who looks after everything, who looks after the husband, family, kids, and takes the generation forward. So it's very important for them to be protected and looked after and cared for in the family. And this is why Prabhupada, has mentioned this, that there has been so many issues happening in current society in Kali Yuga, that a woman think that by working or going out or associating with the opposites, they will have more power. But that is not the case, and this will bring our culture down, our society down, and surroundings will not be as strong as it used to be. And this is why, the women in this culture, now we are working, and but still everyone should remember that boundaries, that limit, that how far one should go. There should be a limit, there should be a line that a woman should not cross. And there are many things about caring of the woman and children. The next point was, Prabhupada has mentioned in this one as well, that Brahmanas are intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. So in this one, there is two things which is, which has tricked me, like, highlighted, is that education and bad character. So both things go ill together, but such things will run parallel. So in Kali Yuga, what is happening, that, Brahmanas are educated, and they're very knowledgeable. They have the knowledge of the, of the scriptures, They know what is right, what is wrong after reading the scriptures, and they have read it properly, understood it, and applied in their life. Then they have that knowledge and experience of understanding of that. But what is happening is now in Kali Yuga that they are knowledgeable, they understand everything, but you can't figure out if they have the good character or bad character. So these two things are going together, and this is why it's causing so much chaos, basically, that Brahmana should be on the top. However, you know they are not following the religion as strongly, like as you can see in India as well. There are so many brahmanas, there are so many speakers of Shrimad Bhagavatam. They hold the the saptas classes and things like that. But when they speak, the potency of speak, you hear it and you understand it, that what is the difference. And they come out of the of the stage, they come out of the talk, and they will be smoking, they will be doing all sort of wrong things which is not been prescribed or said by in the Vedic scriptures. So this is why it's very important for a brahmana to have the knowledge, but also apply that knowledge in the life and also preach that knowledge. So that is very important, to have that character and that compassion. And in this one, if you hear Prabhupada Vani, Srila Prabhupada has given a very good example in this whole relation of how the Brahmanas should act and what type of compassion should be. And Srila Prabhupada has given the example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that at the age of 20 years, he was so young. He had a beautiful wife, a mother of a 70-year-old mother, but out of compassion and to preach to the wider society, to the world, and take the holy name further, he left everything. He took sannyas, and he wanted to basically spread the Krishna consciousness far and wide. So this is what the one of the quality of the brahmanas, that they have to have that preaching ability. Once they have the knowledge is not for us. This knowledge is to give out. So the second question was, are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by brahmanas addicted to act against the principle of religion? So principles of religion is, what is principle of religion? We have four pillars of religion. What is that? What four principles of dharma is austerity, mercy, truthfulness, and cleanliness. So these are the four principles that a brahmana has to follow to be able to take this God consciousness, Krishna consciousness forward, and to be able to preach it properly. And the third question is, the administrative heads as a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom. So it's very important for us to understand, and this is Srila Prabhupada is again and again many places has mentioned, that once the leaders of this society are proper brahmanas, pure brahmanas, and they follow the Krishna consciousness, that all these problems happening around us in the world, that will be stopped, because everyone will work on the same platform. Everyone will for the pleasure of the Lord. They will have only one aim. And this is why it's so important for them to understand the Brahminical culture. What is Brahminical culture? How to support it? How to there are qualities of a pure devotee, there are qualities of the Brahmanas. How do they behave in the society? So it's very important. And this is the last thing which is very important for all of us to understand. Does that we as a Vaishnava, as I understand that all of in this group are devotees. We as a Vaishnavas, as Prabhupada has always mentioned, that Vaishnavas are a higher Brahmanas. We are a Brahmanas. So the third question relates to us, actually to all of us, that we have taken shelter of the administrative families that do not respect the Brahminical culture. So it's very important that, though Srila Prabhupada is here, definitely he has said that the Brahmanas are specifically restricted from accepting such service. But in this age, they will not only accept service, but they will do so even if it is of the meanest quality. These are some of the symptoms of the Kali age, which are harmful of the general welfare of human society. So this last point is very important. It applies to all of us as being a devotee and as being trying to become a brahmana. when we go out and when we work, when we take shelter of someone who does not accept our culture, how do we behave, how do we associate with them, how and this is where Srila Prabhupada has so nicely explained that that the problems are always there in the life when when we take shelter. And this is clearly says that the Brahmanas have taken shelter of the administrative families. It means we as Vaishnavas, we are also taking shelter. We are taking shelter of our bosses, we are taking shelter of our companies, we are taking shelter of all of the banks that they're going to keep our money, we are taking shelter of so many things around us. And this teaches us that how should we change our focus from from the places those are, we think that surviving us, or maybe running our families, as because we are getting the Lakshmi from them, and we're taking shelter of all this temporary stuff, everything around us. But Srila Prabhupada has said such one important that as soon as you leave the shelter of the Krishna's lotus feet, you will face problems. So that, you know but there is every step, there is a problems, there is difficulty, there is challenges, there is dangers every steps. But as soon as one take the shelter of Krishna, and that is the moment Krishna looks after everything. So this last point is very important for us all to understand, that how to always be in the shelter of the Lord, and how we always remember that nothing around us can help us, protect us, or guide us, because they just because they don't understand what is right and wrong. So if they don't understand Brahminical culture, they don't understand how what is the absolute truth, who is the Lord, what there is someone beyond all of this temporary, the spiritual world. They do not understand anything. So if we take shelter of the wrong place, then the danger and the problems are sure to come. But as soon as we come in the shelter of the Lord, and Lord has said himself in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Parityajam, it means just leave everything, just take shelter of me, and then you will always be happy, and then Krishna will look after you. And this is why it's very important for the devotees to first of all, and in this relationship, association also comes in the picture, that when we take shelter, when we work for someone, we associate with them, we talk to them. And many a times it's a human nature that as soon as we associate, we it's okay to give our association to someone else, but as long as that association is not affecting us. And even in like I work full time, and I feel I go to office 2 days a week, and I feel the impact of the material energy as soon as you enter in the office, as soon as you enter in the conversation with a colleague. Apart from the work, like people have so much gossip, there's so many things people talk about, and it somehow or other affect your mind. And 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 even though you're not directly associating with, but you just your surroundings. And you must have felt this, because most of you must have visited one or the other dham, even in the local temple. It's such a strong energy, even if you're in the home, and if you're serving deities, or if you're chanting, the energy around us completely change. So if you go to a dham, like for example, I'm taking example of Vrindavan dham, because I had strong feelings of that association with the dham, that even if you when you come out of Vrindavan, you drive towards Delhi, you see that the energy is coming towards you, the material energy is hitting you badly. And if you're in Vrindavan, you can chant 30 40 rounds. But as soon as you move out, you go towards Delhi, and coming to the London is is a different thing altogether. And so doing a 32 rounds in Vrindavan is like doing 5 6 rounds in London. It's like that, and I've felt that. It's so it just the bhakti flows. It's with you, around you. And it is same with the association. The more you're in the good association, the more you're taking the shelter of the Lord. um, the more bhakti, the sadhana will be easy. It will be so easy that the sadhana which we say, that following four regulative principles, and doing 16 rounds. And so it becomes so easy and smooth for us. If we have if we remember this, first of all, that who do we associate with, who do we take shelter of, and this is why, like when you with your family chanting, it makes a big difference. If you're chanting in the temple with the devotees, in the group chanting, it makes a big difference. But when you're chanting sitting alone, like chanting 16 rounds become a bit difficult. And I have experienced myself that its association is very important. So yeah, these are the few things which are very important, what Srila Prabhupada has highlighted. We should always remember that the few things which is the main highlighted in this, that women and children should always be protected, and as a brahmanas, we should always do what is right. Like we should first understand the knowledge, apply it in our life, and preach it, because we shouldn't just keep it to ourselves. We should always use that knowledge in preaching. And the third one is even though we will have to work, we have to go out, we have to associate with the different types of people, different environment, different atmosphere, but we should always remember that we are thinking of the Lord all the time, and we know that He's the one we need to take shelter of. Yeah. So I'll stop here, and we will maybe open for not questions, I wouldn't say questions, but any comments, realizations, and yeah, if there are any questions, we can discuss together. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thanks for your patience. Anyone? It'll be nice if you can keep your cameras on as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Only if you can. Otherwise, please don't worry. हरी बोल, जय श्री देवी माता जी की जय, सोनल माता जी जय जय जय, अलका माता जी थैंक यू, बालाजी प्रभु, हरी हरी. Very nice to see all of your beautiful faces. Yes, Shri Devi Mata ji, please go ahead. My humble obeisances to you.
Please accept mine. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Gurudev, and my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. I thought it is so significant how Prabhupada is describing to a T the age of Kali, what is happening in the world today, that there's no protection, children are not raised properly. I mean, so many aspects of life are perverted completely. Brahmanas who should be teaching, Vedic scriptures, they do other things. It's like such a graphic description of the world of today that it's amazing how Prabhupada is explaining what is going on. And we can now understand that there is no other hope except Krishna consciousness. This is the only solution, really. Without this, we cannot make it. We cannot make it. Whether we like it or not, there is no other choice except to take up Krishna consciousness just to survive this age. So, just wanted to share those few words. That's all. Thank you so much, Satyabhama. Nice class.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So nice. It's so important what you said. Absolutely spot on, actually. You have concluded the class in just one line, is that Krishna consciousness is the only way. Definitely. There is no other way, no survival outside this. Thank you. So nice. Anyone else? And one more thing I actually thought of about this while I was, talking about it, is about the four regulative principles. And I was thinking of Srila Prabhupada, that how Srila Prabhupada, though, this four regulative principles come from Srimad Bhagavatam. However, how Srila Prabhupada has based the ISKCON movement on 16 grounds and four regulative principles that Prabhupada has made must when you take initiation, when you take the shelter of your spiritual master, that you have to follow that. And this how this four regulative principle gives you protection around you, you know that it keeps you away from all the negativity, all the wrong things you can ever do. There is always white and black things, there is always gray line that you can about drinking alcohol. So that is definitely no. But drinking tea and coffee, so that's Srila Prabhupada is not, but at least person is in that right direction. that, and sometime once he followed the four regulative principles slowly, it would definitely happen that he would become, it's this journey would start by, slowly chanting, taking Lord's name. And so it's so nicely planned by Srila Prabhupada, that how a devotee should lead their life. And the first milestone that Prabhupada gave all of us, that follow these four racks and do 16 rounds, and that will kick you off for your journey. So that was very intelligent of Srila Prabhupada to do that. I was actually about the onion and garlic as well. I was thinking about that. One of the family comes in children's in our Bhakti Vriksha group, and this family has always eaten non-veg. Like literally, that they are, and they comes from a Rajput family, and they say that is our main meal. Like we can't stop it. And it's just this family has never chanted nothing. Just I think 1 year it would have happened that they had been coming to the Friday programs. And one day suddenly in one of the talks, she mentioned to me saying that I have not eaten non-veg from last 2 months, like though she was eating onion garlic and all this. And and I was like shocked. Just the hearing of the name and Krishna Katha can make such a big difference, that a person can, whose stable diet is non-veg, as Srila Prabhupada's mercy flows. And I was like, and she was waiting, that she was telling that I was waiting for 2 months to pass to tell you that I've not eaten from last 2 months. And yeah, so these are the small steps which which Srila Prabhupada has kindly started us, form for us, so that we can slowly come to the platform of human being, and then come to the, above mode of good, passion, ignorance, and then come to the platform of goodness at least. And then by chanting, come to the, pure goodness. So we should be very grateful. Yes, Sonal Mataji, please go ahead. I was waiting for someone to speak up.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, it was lovely class. Just one question. I get very distracted if I have to chant in a group or say temple room. I can't can concentrate at all. So I prefer to chant at home all by myself. I lock myself in a room and then I do it. So again, I think it boils down to your concentration and sense control. If I'm correct. So shall I try going to the temple room and chanting and see how it is, just to check myself, or just leave it and just chant my 16 rounds first, and then I don't know how to go about it.
You can actually, yeah, definitely, like chanting, many people, it happens with, not with you, with so many people, they can't focus when everyone else is chanting. That is definitely sure. And you can definitely chant alone. There is no issue. Like it's really nice if you can focus alone. It's more of your focus. It doesn't matter if you're chanting in the group or alone. It's more about hearing the sound vibration of that is coming from your mouth, from yourself. You're hearing your own chanting. That is best thing. And that should happen irrespective of you chanting in the group or alone. But it just, my feeling was that every time I chant sitting with devotees, the more vibration, the vibration of the room, it's so pure, strong, that if I'm sitting alone, my mind will not be as strong enough to chant and hear. But when I'm sitting with the group, I'm more motivated and enthusiastic to chant and focus on my word, hearing and pronunciation. Everything is correct. So I feel like, someone is watching over me. So I'm really, when you have a teacher in the class, you're at your best behavior. So it's just so nice, even if you, sit with your spiritual master, like you see him chanting, and it encourages you. And one more thing, I've also felt that when I chant with a group of devotees, and when I see them chanting, I feel how beautifully they're chanting. Like I'm doing, like how bad I am. Like, sometimes you just realize that seeing others. So even if you don't chant with them, you just go and sit down there and just listen, hear the sound vibration coming out from everyone, and just spend maybe half an hour there sitting, that how focused they are. And it will encourage you to be more focused in your chanting. So when you're sitting in your room alone, then I think your chanting will be more focused and attentive. Then Shridevi Mataji, please advise what should Mataji should do. It'll be nice to hear your advice as well.
No, whatever is working for you, Sonal, is working for you. So if by going to the temple, it's going to, disturb your routine or make you more distracted or something like that, then what's the big idea? The temple is supposed to be a place where you enhance your spiritual services, sadhana, everything. So for some reason, for you, it's the opposite. You're better able to do it in the home. So some people are like that. They can do a lot of sevas in the temple, but for chanting, they have to go to a quiet place somewhere else or go home or something like that. That does happen. So you do what works best for you. You can always try and say, "Oh, my dear Lord Krishna, I would love to sit in front of you and chant in the temple." And if you're really getting distracted, then make sure you carry earbuds. That's what I do when I go to the temple, because the temple is so noisy and I sit to chant, then I just want to shut out everything else. But obviously, there's a big crowd in it. So I carry earbuds and I really close up my ears, and then I sit down to chant, because it's very wonderful for me to sit and chant in front of the deities. But that's me. So you see what works for you best. That's what I would say. There are
Thank
no
you.
hard and fast rules for chanting, my lord.
Yes.
So, as Lord Chaitanya says in Shikshashtakam, do what works best for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Welcome.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any realization about chanting, about the verse? Any comments? We discussed quite a few actually. It was a quite packed verse. It had covered so many things. It'll be nice to hear your comments. Or about anything actually in Krishna consciousness, in sadhana. It's always a nice to, we are about 10 of us, and it's always good to hear our experiences in Krishna consciousness. How is our journey going? How is our sadhana? Are we chanting properly? Are we reading Srimad Bhagavatam? Are we reading Srila Prabhupada's books? How is our services going? How is our association? And how is our interaction with the devotees? That is also very important, isn't it, Shridevi Mataji? How there are so many things we can discuss and talk about, and it's always open forum to like how Sonal Mataji has asked question. So it's open forum for us all to improve our sadhana with holding each other's hands. I think, yeah, that's how I see it as well. It's very important. Yes, Sonal Mataji, please go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I think there's a big topic which you touched on, which is role of females.
Yes.
And I think we belong to a generation where following four regulative principles was not that difficult. But I think when I see my children, it's difficult, for them. And one of my daughter is fairly deep into Krishna consciousness. So every time she gets dragged to the other extreme sometimes, like it's female role of females, and then I have to bring her back to her studies or whatever, that you do things, but make sure that you draw that boundary around you. So it's tricky. It's very tricky for them, to navigate through this whole thing. And as you said, if you go out and, I mean, fortunately, I work in a healthcare profession, so it's the mindset is completely different. But if you're going into the city, the energy is, yeah. I mean, she comes and tells me, and then it's very difficult as a parent to tell her. You have to still draw the boundaries around it, and it must be very difficult for them to stick to them.
Yeah, that is. I work in city as well, so it is. I have seen the energy, and I literally, this is why I always avoid going to office. I always prefer to work from home. But what can you do? Yes. So, but I have from my experience, Mataji, what I have felt is when the Lord is with you, when I leave the house, I just literally shelter, like I take his shelter, I bow down to him, and I just tell him that I'm in your lotus feet, do whatever you want to do with me. I'm just like chanting helps, but but as Krishna himself said that his energy is material energy is very strong, his Maya is very strong, and you can fall down at any moment. So definitely it's our responsibility to keep an eye on ourselves all the time. Watch out for any wrong stuff around us, and that is for us to protect ourselves. But still we are not strong enough to protect ourselves. So it's for you as a mother to always pray for your daughter, and and prayers always works because that gives the protection to the child, and for the child to always because she has definitely has got a very good upbringing, Krishna conscious family, and she's always been I think you live near Manor, so she has got the association of the devotees, and I think that will help her. So we should always take the shelter, and Krishna will help, because I have seen, like, yeah, I feel this day in day out. It's my daily job basically to protect. Shridevi Mataji, you wanted to say something?
We always want the best for our children. We want them to come up in Krishna consciousness. But I have been told over and over and over again by my Gurudev, because, I have a grown up daughter. She's a grown up girl now. You cannot be her mummy anymore. He tells me that because my daughter is grown up. She's 30 plus. So when the children are small, we can mold them, we can tell them, we can, influence them and everything. But once they cross a certain age, 18, 20, so on, excuse me, we can only suggest, we can only encourage, but anything more than that, then they become very sensitive and they feel, oh, my mom is pushing me. Or even worse, they feel mom is somehow disappointed with me in some way, because it seems like I'm not doing enough. That's why she's telling me to do more. So I'm not good enough. So lots of sensitive issues come up in this, because remember, 18 to 25, they're grappling with individuation, understanding themselves, teenagers going on to young adulthood. So they're so sensitive about everything and anything. So it becomes very tricky to tell them anything at that age, except being very encouraging as much as possible. Because anything, even like a suggestion, will seem like a criticism. Oh, you think, mom, I'm not doing enough? I'm going to school, I'm doing this after school job, and I've got my fitness training to do. And on top of that, if I don't chant 16 rounds, it's a problem. At least I'm chanting 8, no? Like that. So they will not take it well if even we are just encouraging them ki beta chalo thoda chanting or karo, so that you can come up to the level, maybe get initiated. That's what is in our minds, but they have some different ideas. So the best thing you can do, Sonal, is to pray for them.
Yeah, I
Really,
mean, this
the
this
best
suggestion that comes as a criticism. That's, I can see it every now and then, So but then you still want to tell them, because you still think that. So for her, because she went into Krishna consciousness, because she is a Pandosena product, I call it, So for her, the knowledge is there, but the application bit is missing. So that's why she finds it very difficult to relate the theory to the practical kind of aspect, And yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Yeah, so I think, as you said, probably I just have to pray and let her figure out how to navigate through this.
Yeah, I understand.
Thank you. Thanks, Devi Mataji.
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Otherwise, maybe we can stay on for a few more minutes if there are any questions or any realization, anything. Okay, nothing. Then we close the call. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Jai
Jai
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.